Good morning, everybody. Dave Neal here, stand-up comic and host of Bachelor Nation News. In this video, Kelley Flanagan joins Jason Tartick on the Trading Secrets podcast to talk about the dark side of influencing. She shares a couple stories about how she's invested all of her influencer money and one of her cast members that was sued. So we're going to get into all of this along with a very healthy discussion about the capitalistic hellscape we live in, where influencing does exist because people's normal 9-to-5 jobs suck so much that they'd rather work for themselves, which is a good thing. You know, there can always be a happy ending to a bad situation. That's where innovation comes along, when people don't like the status quo. Follow me on Instagram at DNeals, patreon.com/Dave Neal for private bonus content. We'll be going live at 10 a.m. today. Now, I want to be fully open and honest with you guys. On the podcast today, I'm going to open up the vault and talk to you guys about something I haven't done publicly here. Part of talking about the influencing world and working for yourself and social media means being transparent with your salary. I'm going to start sharing my monthly analytics with you all on the podcast Bachelor Rush Hour. So if you guys tune into that later today, 5 p.m. East Coast, 2 p.m. Pacific, you can get that downloaded straight to your phone. Link in the comment section to be a part of that conversation. The reason why I haven't done it in the past, since my channel has been a full-time job, is because people tend to use that information against you. They go, "You're not worth this. You shouldn't be making that." I've seen it. It's a weird sort of cult that we live in, where we've been trained to not talk about our salary. So Jason Tartick actually has been doing having a bunch of conversations about those taboo topics, and it's actually very good to hear. So in today's video, we've got Kelley Flanagan. Let's play a couple clips from her discussing her influencer lifestyle, and then we'll share some other Instagram stories from Tia, because she's been opening up about what she's been doing with her influencer life.
Every single penny that I have made through social media, I've invested in it.
Wow.
I invested every single penny that I have made. Like, I don't even own a Chanel bag. Can I go buy a $5,000 bag? Absolutely. But I would rather invest that than ever put it towards a bag. I don't know. It just would bother me to waste money like that.
Now, of course, you know that maybe she invests her influencer money, but spends the money she's made as a lawyer, and whatever. Who really knows? We know, like one of the best tight ends of all time, Rob Gronkowski, says he's never spent his NFL game day checks. Because he's had such a lucrative career as a spokesperson in his world of sports. Influencing is really what he is. He's an influencer who's very tall and he can catch touchdown passes. So great when it works, being not always the case. Here's another clip from Kelley on Jason Tartick's podcast discussing the legal ramifications of being an influencer. You're peddling products, and there are new laws that are coming out to prevent people from getting duped. We know Kim Kardashian was just sued for a pump and dump scheme. That's not a dirty reference. Pump and dump refers to promoting a product and then selling it off. So you kind of pump it up to a certain value, and then you sell your shares, you make a bunch of money, and then everyone's left with a short end of the stick.
That was on my season. She contacted me. She was getting sued. One of those loophole giveaways where, tag, 6 of your girlfriends, follow them, and we'll give you a bag. There was this guy who followed all of those 6 girls, and it started a massive fight with him and his girlfriend because he just followed essentially 6 new hot chicks.
Oh my God.
And I guess they broke up. They had issues. He was trying to sue her for nominal damages, aka $6, I think it was.
Stop this.
Yeah. For defamation or something crazy. And she was like, "What is this?" And I looked at the case and I started dying laughing. I was like, "Listen, you don't have that much to worry about. This guy just seems a little bit crazy." So one of the girls that was
one of the girls that was on Pilot Pete's season, which was Kelley Flanagan's, got sued for $6. And when we look at the alumni that were on Pilot Pete's season, it really might have been the greatest season of all time with regard to the people that have come out of it. Natasha Parker, McKenna, Hannah Brown, Hannah Ann Sluss, Victoria Fuller, Madison Pruitt, Tammy. These are all-star characters from Bachelor lore. We will have another article on Hannah Ann Sluss later today. today as she's doing long distance with her NFL boyfriend who got traded to a new team. So these conversations are very interesting. We live in the wild, wild west of the influencer world where there have been tricks that people have used to boost their following. So what she was mentioning here is these loop giveaways. It's not good. They've banned them, I'm pretty sure, because it's like, I'll give you this if you follow these, and then you go to the next person, you got to follow them. It turns into this whole human centipede of influencer garbage. But people will do anything to get ahead because the alternatives are not that good. Now, there's a lot of shaming with the influencer world. We'll get into that in a second. Tia posted this calendar. If you're listening on the podcast, I'll try to describe it as best as possible. It's a visual calendar of her month of deliverables that she has, products that are due, podcast episodes she has to do, different things going on. Someone asked her, how many partnerships do you typically have at once on average? She said, I don't know exact numbers, but I like to be booked a few months in advance. I try to keep it at 2 to 3 a week, but my November is packed full for holiday deals. And because I'll be taking a break when baby is born, and that scares me, no actual maternity leave in this job. So because she said no actual maternity leave in this job, that pissed a lot of people off. And like I said before, we live in a capitalistic hellscape. I played the lottery yesterday for $1.2 billion. I didn't win. If I did, I wouldn't be making this video. You would never hear from me again. Who's Dave Neal? I don't know. I thought I saw him on a yacht somewhere, okay? But it's sad that more people pay for lottery tickets than they do for healthcare and other things, because we live in a world, in this late stage capitalistic world, where we're not provided for, and the only way out is a lottery for a lot of people out there. It's just the Hunger Games, folks. Now, guys, people in my DMs will agree with me, and then they'll disagree with me. It's a whole wide, span of people. But I can't tell you, when I talk about the rich not getting taxed enough, I can't tell you how many people will send me private messages disagreeing, and it's probably people in the middle class that defend billionaires. It blows my mind how someone who makes $70,000 or $140,000, whatever it is, middle to lower middle class, not six figures isn't lower middle class, but in today's world, it ain't as much as it used to be, right? These types of people defending those that make exorbitant amounts of money. Now, when we talk about marginal tax increases, it's not the idea of redistributing all the wealth. Look at it this way. If we're all on a race to the 100-yard line, the 100-yard line being financial independence, we can get health care if we break a leg. All these basic necessities can be met. If that's the 100-yard line and the lower middle class is starting at scratch at the 0-yard line, then the upper class is starting at the 50-yard line. A marginal tax means if you make over, say, $2 million a year, after that, maybe you get taxed at 50%. That's like saying, all right, no one needs more than $2 million a year. So rather than pay 22% tax, you're going to now pay 50%. So what that does is the ultra wealthy, again, we're not talking about you making 100 or 75,000. The ultra wealthy, rather than starting at the 50-yard line, maybe now they get taxed a little bit more and they start at the 48-yard line. And now the poor people, rather than starting at the 0-yard line, maybe are now starting at the 1-yard line or the 2-yard line. So it's not about a complete redistribution of wealth, socialism. It's about having a fair shot for everybody. So for those that are out there that think, oh my gosh, it's crazy how much some of these influencers are making, just realize it's nothing compared to some actual wealth that's out there. It's nothing. So you're barking up the wrong tree if you don't like the late stage capitalistic world, which is everybody for themselves. And I talk about this when I talk about my finances. The reason I haven't shared or don't share is because it's not good for my family. It's not good for the people that want to use that against me because they're in a bad spot. Well, guess what? I also was in a bad spot. This isn't one of those pull yourself up by the bootstraps. It's the problem is late stage capitalism. And what I mean by that is the automation. Remember, it used to take someone 40 hours a week to do a job. Now, how many people that are out there? Truly. You're watching my channel, you're listening to my podcast, you're doing all these things because you work some weird 9 to 5 where you have to be at work, but you're not really doing that much. Didn't the pandemic prove that most people can do their job in 12 hours a month, right? So these conversations are reaching a threshold where people are going to be talking more about what's really important in life. And you see the meme going around that it's wild that they've been able to convince us that working 50 years, 8 hours a day, 5 days a week, is a good thing. That's the American dream. I call bullshit on that. I call complete bullshit. So for Tia to share, now don't get me wrong, Tia, when she was on The Bachelor during the height of Instagram, so people don't get these numbers like she has. Instagram's a dying medium. But she makes a ton of money here. But because she says no actual maternity leave, people use that against her as if she's the problem. So let's watch a couple of her Instagram stories. Someone said, will you hire a social media assistant after the baby? She says, this is her. She's been with me since January and she's my full-time gal now. So she has a social media assistant.
I just woke up this week.
So she's super pregnant.
Several people have asked about my ADT link and if it's still good. So I just added those story slides to a highlight tab because I couldn't stand it anymore.
All right. So anyway, Tia posts, I'm going to just kind of selectively choose what of her posts I'm going to share with you guys right now. She's got this like Southern accent thing working for her, like she's an every woman. So she actually does really well on her Instagram. She's kind of like the opposite of a Tayshia. Tayshia's like high-end fashion. And again, everyone can have different markets, right? You got Brett Favre who's selling, Wrangler jeans, quarterback, and then you have Tom Brady who's selling like nice sports cars and watches. Like you can have a different market. That's not the point here.
Number, because I thought you had to have two running at the same time.
I don't know what she's talking about here. We're trying to find the goods here. So she's obviously sharing 2-3 different things a day with her Instagram, and that's part of the job. It's balancing promoting things, but also, and I have a similar job where I have to balance keeping your attention, but also having ad inserts that help pay the bills. And, if you do too many ads, you might lose your audience. It's a delicate balance on social media. I'm sure every time she posts too many products or products she doesn't believe in, or if you look at someone like we use Maddie Pruitt as an example, when she promoted Shein, the clothing line, we know she received probably close to a 6-figure or more deal to promote a clothing line that violates human rights in China, in Bangladesh, where they actually have child laborers and they don't report a lot of their violations. A real terrible company, not just human rights wise, but also for the environment. Fast fashion's not great, but there are so many issues with the quick evolution of automation, which, like I said, we call late stage capitalism. The idea that you can buy a T-shirt for $5 in some other country, or Nike shoes, or your iPhone, and all these issues that we have, and we don't think twice about the ramifications about that lifestyle that we get to live here. So here are some comments that people left. I'll try to get through them kind of quick here on Tia's calendar. All these people defending influencers. No way she's working 25 hours a week. And if she's making probably $100,000 a month, if not more, I think she'll be okay. And just to be promoting nonstop consumerism and promoting a fake lifestyle. I'm so over these influencers having even the slightest complaint while living in a multi-million-dollar house and being able to afford luxuries most people would never ever dream of. I worked in a nonprofit and made literally pennies and didn't even get a single day of paid time off to have kids. All right, so this seems to be more of a problem with you. This is a problem with the lifestyle of sort of like working for an industry that doesn't pay well, which I totally understand. I'm not here to say an influencer job is as hard as 95% of the fields out there, but I will say one post for them is not as easy as one post for us. There's still work involved when it comes to negotiating, editing, and marketing. I think a lot of people are underestimating it is work. Maybe not as much as most careers, and especially not considering how much money they make for what the job is, but it's also not just taking a selfie and writing a caption either. I say this as a former teacher who made nearly nothing for a ton of work. I think people are being too hard on her. Yeah, no, absolutely. So the work that comes in with influencing, it's negotiating your pay, invoices, going back and forth. For every job that they land, there's all the jobs that they're negotiating that they don't land. So for people that go, oh my gosh, her calendar doesn't look too busy at all, it's like an iceberg, folks. There's a lot that you don't see that goes into it, not to mention whatever anxieties or fears or daily toll it takes trying to be perfect every day. Again, I don't think too many people who are not in this position can empathize with it, but I don't do many sponsorships on my page. I actually roll my eyes when sponsors reach out because I'm not at the level where it pays as much as the time and effort it takes to put into it. So I totally get the knee-jerk eye rolling, but it actually does take a lot to create content and post daily. My partner's job is mostly dependent on selling things through Instagram. The amount of time it takes for him to photograph, create copy, research, post, strategize, brand, etc. can be a bit exhausting. He's in a totally different industry, though, and doesn't make money just from posting, and I'm not sure how much these influencers are involved in other aspects of it. It really comes down to this. Influencers like Tia do make a lot of money, but a lot don't. And so are we upset that they make a lot of money or that they're working a lot of hours? Because even if you make a lot of money, you still have a human body and you still get tired and exhausted and you still feel those other feelings. Someone said, wow, I really don't understand these comments defending a reality TV star turned influencer. I'm not here to be mad at the government. I do that all my own free time anyways. I am here to criticize an influencer who appears to be garnering sympathy for not having paid maternity leave, when in reality, most of her followers who support her income also do not have paid maternity leave. Again, so this is someone who's upset at the system, and it's not really her fault. It's just a super privileged statement, and people are allowed to criticize her for posting it. Unless the government is reading Bachelor subreddit, our annoyance is appropriately placed on this subreddit. We are here to discuss Bachelor-related topics, not our government. I disagree with that. I think the government, politics, lifestyle, and social issues all intertwine into the conversation. I think that's why our channel does what it does. Hustle culture is dumb as flip, and people who brag about working 12 hours a day seem brainwashed by the capitalistic hellscape we're in. This sounds like I wrote this. I feel like I'm getting more radical as I get older because I know too many people compromising mental health for their demanding jobs. Don't work too hard, get paid, enjoy life. Yeah, that's kind of the world we're starting to live in, where people are saying, what's it worth to everyone out there? There's a reason why a lot of lawyers get out of it quickly, or people realize they'd rather run their own Etsy account than maybe pursue whatever high degree that they had, because working in certain cultures is just, the juice is not always worth the squeeze. So let me know what you think about this. As I mentioned, I'm going to be sharing more of my analytics on the podcast today, and we'll see if we can get through that. It's going to be a little heart-wrenching. I'm going to share my October, and I say heart-wrenching because it's just, it opens me up for, there's a reason why people do it. Don't do it, because not everyone out there is in the same position of abundance, and I understand that. I come from, being unemployed during the pandemic to having built a nice little a business model for myself here. I try to promote to everyone out there that they can do the same, that they can find ways to directly reach an audience, finding a niche, and combining either entertainment or information. That you'd be shocked by how many people are out there that don't think they've got a special gift because it comes easy to them. And I'm here to tell you, you do. And if there's something you've been thinking about doing out there, well, you've got almost 2 full months left in 2022 to put together your battle plan and get 2023 started off on a high note. I'm doing that right now by launching Bachelor Rush Hour, my new podcast. Go check it out. Link in the comment section to listen. It's free. We'll talk to you guys in a little bit.